So this is the custom built computer that I built in the late 90s, and it's extremely dusty. It's running now. I loaded MS-DOS 5 up on a brand new ATA hard drive that I purchased online from Amazon. So the computer is working now, but it's really noisy when I turn it on. In fact, you can probably get a sense of it here. Just switch it on temporarily. Yeah, so that's pretty annoying. So what I'm going to do is using this little vacuum toolkit hooked up to my large vacuum, I'm going to carefully vacuum out the dust from this system and hopefully get it sounding a little better. Yeah, it's a little tool that I'll be using, along with this big vacuum here. So this just hooks up like this. And you can use the little tool on the end to vacuum the dust. So let's do it. Alright, I've made some good progress. I've dusted out, vacuumed out most of the main board, and as well as the tops of these PCI cards. This is the GeForce graphics card. This is a Netgear networking card, and I took this out so I could vacuum the top of the Netgear. This is just a USB card from Belkin, so I'm going to put that back in. And this motherboard is actually an Abit KG7-RAID. I still have the owner's manual, and it still runs like a champ all these years later. I don't remember the exact year I bought it, but it was in the late 90s, probably 98, 99, somewhere in there. So now I need to get to these fans. There's a fan on the motherboard itself. I need to take that off and dust under it. And then, of course, the processor fan and heatsink have gotten very dusty over the years, so I need to do that as well. Also, by taking this fan off, I'll be able to get to the underside of the power supply and vacuum that off. And just like that, the fan on the chipset comes off, and it is mighty dusty. I don't know if you can see particularly well, but a very dusty heatsink right here. So let's take care of that. I actually ended up taking off the fan because that made it a lot easier to get all that nasty, super sticky dust out of there. And now we'll just plug it back in and stick it right back on here. Hopefully, either the noise was most likely coming from there or from the processor fan, so hopefully doing this will solve one of those two problems. Now, I'll mention that I've actually left the computer plugged in, which seems counterintuitive. Like, isn't that a power hazard? Well, by leaving it plugged in, it's actually grounding it as well, which is helpful since I'm fiddling around in here. I don't want to zap anything, so keeping it plugged in will keep it grounded and will help avoid that possibility. Oops. Dropping screws, of course, is not a great idea either, but it happens. All right, fan is back in, and so now we can take apart the processor. Okay, you can see here, quite a mess, quite a bit of dust on that fan and in the heatsink itself. Might try to take that off, this plastic bracket. We can get all that dust out of there. Time to put everything back together. Okay, well, I put everything back together and I started up and there was still hideous noise. And now there's no noise, as you can hear, because I took this fan out, which was the fan sitting on the chipset. This fan is, I guess it just got too dirty. It's just super, super noisy. So I tried vacuuming it out a bit more, and it must have moved the dust enough to cause a clog under here somewhere. I don't know. The fan is just running really, really slowly now, and still kind of noisy, especially when I put it on here. It's just noisy still. And now it's slow, so it's not moving enough air like it should. So, I'm gonna hop online, find a replacement, which shouldn't be too hard since there's a model number on the back of here and some specs. And once that arrives, we'll pop it in, and it should be nice and quiet, just like it is now. Because this fan is now running much quieter than it was before. And I don't have the one in the front hooked up yet, but it should run just as quiet as well. So I'll check back when the fan arrives in a few days. Okay, the new fan has arrived. Let's install it. You hear how loud the current one is, right? Also, it's running slower than it should. So let's see if installing the new fan will help quiet things down. Alright, so having a bit of an interesting problem here. You can see on the old fan, the screw holes are inset a little bit wider at the top, so that when the screw goes in, it fits, oops, it fits flush. The new fan doesn't have that, as you can see. So when the screw goes in, it doesn't fit flush. It doesn't even come out the bottom. So what I did was taking a 732 drill bit and my handy dandy DeWalt driver here, and I'm just very slowly and carefully kind of reaming out the hole here. So I already did it with this one. It's not pretty, but it works. The screw will go in and sit flush and poke out the bottom the way it's supposed to. So I got to do that on these other 3 holes, and then I should be able to install this puppy. Okay, all installed. Let's try turning this computer on and see if it sounds any different. So much better. So much better. Quite the difference. Alright, let's get an operating system loaded on here. Alright, so this is what the tower looks like when it's all put together. Again, this was a custom build that I did in the late 90s. That's why it has this badge on it. And decided to load Windows 2000 because this computer is still old enough that XP just runs a little slowly. So, not sure what I'll do with this computer yet. I mean, I could load some games on it, but mainly been using the Gateway 2000 running DOS 6 for those old classic vintage games. So, I don't know. You have any ideas about what I should do with this one? Maybe I should just get rid of it. Thanks for joining me for this adventure.